Rob Swire, Knife Party are back. Titans of electronic music, titans of modern production, and just able to sort of turn crowds of upwards of 100,000 people into a singularity. They have returned with a brand new EP called Lost Souls. He's grown a beard and we're catching up for the first time in a long time. What's up, Rob?
Yeah, not a lot, man. Just in the studio, hanging.
And that's where I last saw you. I would ask you whether or not you've actually left.
No, I've been here the entire time, like the Phantom of the Opera style.
It's great to have you and Gareth back. I know that you could literally flip on a dime as to whether or not you're going to work with Pendulum now, which you've resurrected, or whether or not you're going to produce some work with others, which I don't know where your head's at with that. But why Knife Party? Why now?
We had a collection of music that we just wanted to get out before doing any of the Pendulum stuff, and it felt like we sort of needed to finish that off before getting back to Pendulum, and just sort of release this little bit of music before, maybe going quiet for a tiny bit.
So putting these songs together and forming an EP, which I know you were super meticulous and deliberate before you release anything. How did you know that this was good enough to release? It seems like a strange question, but I know there's a lot that isn't for you.
It's been a while since we last released something, and we wanted to make sure it was right. But as to how we made sure this was ready to release, pretty much we just got told that the deadline was at a certain date, and that's what we did. So.
This is amazing. If anybody knows how Knife Party and Rob runs his business, it's a miracle that anybody gets him on the phone, let alone tells him what to do. But there is an element of the need to get music out now so you can go and play it. Is there a desire to go and tour again with Knife Party? You put so many years in, and you guys were just road warriors.
Yeah, man, we're definitely keen to get out there. I mean, I still haven't heard some of those tracks on the system yet, so it's going to be good to get out there and take the crowd.
World record!
I feel I'm surrounded, can't live without it. That's just what you do to me. You save me from drowning. 'Cause you
Today's world record from Knife Party, Death and Desire featuring Harrison, one of a brand new collection of music which is called Lost Souls EP, and we're catching up with Rob Swire. I was going to call you the ever elusive, but I know you're not a man of mystery and mystique either. You just like to keep yourself to yourself and make music.
That's it.
So let's talk a little bit about Harrison and your desire to work with him on this song, Death and Desire, and why. Because again, very few features in Knife Party's realm. Why did you decide to work with him on this?
It's one of those tracks where it's harder than you think to make a vocal. We basically made we had a top line that I'd written for it, and it wasn't really sitting right. And we had a bunch of people send some top lines in just for ideas. And apart from his, it wasn't too promising, but we heard his, it instantly sort of fit. We were like, this guy's pretty talented, and got him in the studio, jammed it out.
Lost Souls is the name of the EP. How did you name it? How did you come up with the name of the EP?
There's a festival, I don't know where it is. I think it's in Idaho or somewhere called Lost Lands. It's Excision's sort of dubstep festival. And I won't go into the exact circumstances surrounding exactly why it's called Lost Souls, but it's kind of a play on that and a bit of a poke at dubstep.
Which is funny because it's something that, to a degree, you guys were at the forefront of spearheading and bringing through, and you did it in your own way. You never fell into a group or a circle, but you definitely, played around in that environment. And there's definitely a song on the EP which I feel is kind of like a reflection of that time, albeit modernized. How was it going back in and dancing around Massive again and getting, I assume you probably made up and invented a synth to make those sounds, but dancing around that kind of buzzsaw and that whole vibe of that energy, that riffage?
It was, we hadn't done it in a while, and a lot of fans were like, oh, where'd the dubstep go? And we thought, right, well, if we're going to do it, we got to sort of take the piss out of it a bit. We're never too afraid to annoy an entire scene. Sort of go in again and try our hand at one last track before the genre eats itself.
So now that the Knife Party project is finished and you're going to go out and play shows, where does that leave your other band? Because you said you wanted to get this out, and I wouldn't normally, I know you don't like to pivot between the two, but you said early on you had to get this done in order to get back to the other thing, and so it would be churlish of me not to ask how you're balancing those two things out.
We only really do one thing at a time, and I don't know, it's been sort of, I think, 10 years or so since we last did stuff with Pendulum, like 10 years since the last release, and I'm kind of excited about that period of time. Like, what does it come back with? Obviously you can't come back with the same thing. It's got to be different.
Technology has changed so much. There's so many more tools you can play with and investigate too.
And so many more kids who are using those tools and have kind of upped the game and made it a bit harder to come back. So we're having to reinvent ourselves a little bit. Yeah.
So when are you going out and playing Knife Party shows? When are you and Gareth going out and hitting the road?
All through July, basically. We're doing like Taiwan, China, Japan. We got San Francisco later in the month, Seattle, Spain, all that.
When you think back on that time, now that you're back in the frame and you've got some perspective, you pump the brakes. And I sort of look back on that time. We were doing a lot of shows together, touring. Everyone was just grinding.
Yeah.
And I felt like no one really knew where the brake was. Like, even if you wanted to pull the handbrake, I don't think any of us knew where it was. And somehow everyone individually and kind of as a crew found it over time. When you think back to that time, what conjures up for you?
Man, I was just looking at some old videos of house DJs and dubstep DJs, like especially Laidback Luke playing in sort of 2010. And the crowd reaction is like something you'd expect from Metallica or something. It's insane. And I guess you sort of saw that. You saw that sort of slowly disappear as, I guess, every new exciting thing does. I don't know. I got nothing against the Chainsmokers at all. But I'd sort of pinpoint it to the moment they went on American Idol and High Five Jailer. That for me, that was the moment. I was like, who knows where we go from here.
Who knows indeed? Who knows, JD? Who knows where we go from here? I have no idea, except I'm going to play clowns and lose my rag.